At the family dinner, I said, can't wait for the family reunion. My sister laughed. You're not invited. It's for real family. Everyone laughed. Except me. 4 days later, my dad tried to withdraw $3,600 and got a message saying, access denied. Must be that family-only policy. My name is Ava Miller, and if you ask my family, they'll probably tell you I'm the quiet one. The one who doesn't fight back. The one who takes every insult with a smile. But the truth? I just learned early that silence is louder than yelling, and revenge is best served cold. It started on an ordinary Sunday evening. Our monthly family dinner. Mom made her famous chicken casserole, the one she always bragged about even though everyone secretly hated it. The table was full, my parents, my older sister Lily, her husband Mark, and my younger brother Ethan. I sat at the far end, like always, the invisible one. Lily was the golden child, successful, loud, confident. She had a way of turning every family event into her personal stage. I was used to it. I didn't mind being in the background until that night. We were halfway through dinner when Dad announced, big family reunion next weekend. Can't believe it's been 5 years since we've had one. I smiled, genuinely excited for once. I can't wait to see everyone again, I said. That's when Lily dropped her fork, smirked, and said, oh, Ava, you're not invited. It's for real family. The room went silent for a second, then everyone burst out laughing. Even my dad chuckled under his breath. Mom didn't say a word. She just looked down at her plate. I froze. My heart pounded so hard I could barely hear anything. But I smiled anyway. Because that's what I do. I smiled, stood up slowly, grabbed my coat, and said, guess I'll save you a plate. Then I left. I could hear their laughter echoing behind me as I walked out the door. That night, I sat in my apartment, staring at the city lights through my window. I thought about all the times I'd been left out, ignored, treated like a joke. How Lily always made fun of my job. How Dad once told me I'd never make it without the family's help. Funny thing is, that help came from the very systems I'd built for them. See, I'm not just some quiet, average girl. I'm an account manager at a private banking firm, specializing in digital asset security and financial systems integration. And guess who manages the family's financial software and shared investments?
Me.
For years, they trusted me to handle the boring money stuff because none of them understood it. I set up their automated accounts, linked their cards, even helped my dad secure a trust fund after his retirement. They thought I was just the obedient little sister who loved numbers. They had no idea what I was really capable of. The next morning, I checked our shared digital platform. All the accounts were still active. My father's trust fund, Lily's joint investments, even Mom's medical savings account. All under my secure system. And I remembered Lily's smirk. You're not invited. It's for real family.
Fine.
If I wasn't family, then maybe they shouldn't enjoy the privileges that came with me being one. So I opened the administrator dashboard and began creating a few adjustments. I didn't steal a dime. I didn't touch their money. I simply reclassified user access, a small technical tweak that restricted withdrawals, transfers, or access without administrator authorization. And who was the administrator?
Me.
Then, I added a custom pop-up message for any denied transaction. Access denied. Must be that family-only policy. It was petty. It was poetic. It was perfect. For the next few days, I went about my life normally. Work, coffee, gym, repeat. No calls.
No texts.
I figured maybe they hadn't noticed yet. Until 4 days later, when my phone buzzed Dad calling. I stared at the screen, then answered casually. Hey, Dad. Everything okay? His voice was tight. Ava, did something happen to the family account? I tried to withdraw money this morning. It says access denied. I paused, letting a little smile form. Oh, that's strange. Must be a system error.
He sighed.
Well, can you fix it? I need to transfer $3,600 for the reunion expenses. I opened the system on my laptop, found his attempted withdrawal, took a quick screenshot, the one that showed the denial message, and sent it to him. "Check your phone," I said. He opened it. Silence. Then I added softly, "Guess it's that family-only policy you all mentioned." He didn't respond, just hung up. I leaned back in my chair and took the deepest breath I'd taken in years. Finally, they'd know what it felt like to be excluded. For a few days, things were quiet. No calls, no messages, no drama. Just peace. Then, on the second night, I heard a loud knock at my door. 3 hard, angry bangs. I froze, heart racing. When I looked through the peephole, it was Dad. And he didn't look like he came to talk. The pounding on my door didn't stop. "Ava, open this door right now." Dad's voice, harsh, commanding, the same one that used to make me freeze when I was a kid. But not tonight. I took a deep breath, counted to 3, and opened the door. He stood there in his old brown jacket, face red, jaw clenched. Behind him, I could see his truck still running, headlights cutting through the dark. He pushed past me without even waiting for an invitation. "What did you do to my account?" "Hi, Dad," I said calmly, closing the door. "Nice to see you too." He spun around. "Don't play smart with me, Ava. The bank said everything's locked, the trust fund, the cards, even a shared account. I couldn't pay for the reunion deposit. Do you have any idea how embarrassing that was?" I folded my arms. "Embarrassing? Like being told you're not part of your own family at dinner?" He froze. Just for a second. Then his eyes narrowed. "Don't start with that nonsense again. You know your sister was joking." "Was she?" I asked softly. "Because everyone laughed. Including you."
He scoffed.
"For God's sake, Ava. Grow up. You've always been too sensitive." There it was, the line I'd heard my whole life. Too sensitive. Too quiet. Too different. I felt that old anger rise again. But this time I didn't bury it. I met his gaze head-on. "You know, Dad, maybe if you treated me like family, you wouldn't have to ask permission to use your own money." He looked stunned. Then angry. "Permission? You think you can control my finances? I trusted you to handle that account." "And I did," I said evenly. "Until you all made it clear I wasn't family anymore. So I just updated the access list. That's what you do in business, when members change, right?" He took a step closer, his tone turning icy. "You went too far this time." I smiled faintly.
"No, Dad."
I finally went far enough. He left that night, without another word. Slammed the door so hard my picture frames rattled. But for the first time, I didn't shake. I didn't cry. I just sat down and smiled. Because for once, they were the ones feeling powerless. The next morning, my phone started blowing up. Texts from Mom. "Ava, your father is furious. Please fix this. This is childish. Be the bigger person. You know your sister didn't mean it." And then from Lily herself. "What the hell did you do? Dad's blaming me for everything. If this is your weird revenge thing, it's not funny. Grow up, Ava. You're acting like a child." Every message just made me smile more. For years, I'd been their emotional punching bag. Now, they couldn't access their own funds without me. And that terrified them. By afternoon, Mom called. I let it ring. Then she called again. And again. Finally, I picked up. "Ava," she started in that gentle tone she used when she wanted something. "Sweetheart, we all said some things we didn't mean. Let's just fix this and move on, okay?" I said nothing. "Ava? Honey." After a pause, I finally replied. "So, I'm invited to the family reunion then?" Silence. Then she sighed. "Don't be ridiculous."
"This isn't about that."
I smiled. "Then I guess my system isn't about money either." She gasped softly. "Ava, don't do this to your father." "I didn't," I said, voice steady. "You all did this to me." And I hung up. For the next few days, chaos unfolded like a slow-motion train wreck. Dad couldn't access his trust funds. Lily's business card stopped working. She had a meltdown at a gas station. Even Mom's grocery payments got declined. I could imagine their panic, the way they'd scramble to call the bank, argue with representatives, blame each other. It wasn't even about the money anymore. It was about control. For once, they weren't in charge. And it was poetic. But revenge has a strange silence to it. After 3 days, the adrenaline started to fade. And in its place came emptiness. I'd wanted them to feel what I felt. Excluded, powerless, unimportant. And they did. But now I found myself wondering what next. Just then, my phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't a text. It was an email notification from the financial platform. Unauthorized access attempt detected. Location: Miller family residence. I froze. Someone was trying to hack into the system. It didn't take a genius to guess who it was. Lily. She might be cruel, but she wasn't stupid. She probably convinced Dad to let her handle it while pretending she could fix everything. I smirked and opened the live audit log, watching in real time as she tried to guess the password. After 5 failed attempts, the system auto-locked for security, and I triggered the automated voice alert. A robotic message played through the system. This account is protected under new ownership access. Unauthorized entry will be reported. 10 minutes later, my phone lit up again. Dad calling. Lily calling. Mom calling. All ignored. Because for the first time in my life, I was done answering to them. But that peace didn't last long. 2 days later, around 9 p.m., another loud knock echoed through my apartment. This time it wasn't just Dad. Through the peephole, I saw 2 figures, Dad and Lily. And they didn't look like they came to apologize. The knocking grew louder. This wasn't a polite, let's talk kind of knock. It was the kind that said, we're not leaving until you open this door. I took a slow breath, straightened my shoulders, and opened it. Dad barged in first, followed by Lily, who was clutching her designer purse like it was a weapon. Her expression screamed fury, but her eyes, they showed panic. What the hell is wrong with you, Ava? Lily snapped. Do you have any idea what you've done to this family? I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. You mean your family? Lily rolled her eyes. Oh, don't start with that again. No, I interrupted. You made it very clear at dinner, remember? You said I wasn't real family. So, I'm just acting accordingly. Dad stepped closer, his voice sharp. You don't talk to your sister like that. You've embarrassed all of us. I laughed softly. Embarrassed you? Dad, you embarrassed yourselves when you laughed at me that night. He slammed his hand on the counter. Enough. For a moment, the whole apartment went silent. Then Lily's voice broke the tension. You can't just lock us out of everything. You've messed up the accounts, Dad's business payments, even Mom's card got declined at the pharmacy. I looked straight at her. Maybe next time, don't exclude people who handle your money. Her jaw dropped. You think this is funny? You're ruining us. No, I said coldly. I'm teaching you what it feels like to be unwanted. Dad tried to step closer, but I didn't move. You've always been like this, Ava, he said bitterly.
Petty.
Always playing the victim. We gave you everything, college, an apartment, that job your uncle helped you get. I cut him off. No, you didn't give me that. I earned it. Every late night, every breakdown, every time I had to smile at people who treated me like I was invisible. You didn't build me, Dad. You ignored me. He scoffed. You always twist things to make yourself look like the hero. I took a step forward. I'm not the hero. I'm just not your punching bag anymore. Lily's voice cracked. You're insane. You think money makes you powerful? Wait until Mom hears about this. She already has, I said calmly. She called me. I offered her a deal. Dad's eyes narrowed. What deal? If she apologizes sincerely, I'll restore access. For her only. Lily's mouth fell open. You're blackmailing Mom? I smiled faintly.
No.
I'm giving her a chance to do what you never could. Treat me like family. For a long moment, no one spoke. The tension was thick, heavy. Then Lily laughed. That same cruel, fake laugh she always used to make me feel small. Oh my God, you're pathetic, Ava. You think locking a few bank accounts makes you powerful? You're still that lonely little girl begging for attention. Her words hit harder than I expected, but I didn't let it show. Instead, I said quietly, you're right. I was that girl. But not anymore. Then I walked over to my laptop, opened it, and turned the screen toward them. On display were 6 different bank accounts, all under the Miller Family Trust. I clicked one. See this? I said. Joint account, Dad and me. You used this to pay your reunion deposit, remember? I hit enter. Account balance, $0. Dad's face drained of color. What did you do? I clicked again, another account. This one's the emergency fund Lily used for her business loans, right? Transfer complete. $48,000 moved. Lily gasped. You didn't. Oh, I did, I said softly. Every cent is sitting in a separate holding account.
Safe. Protected.
Until you all decide to stop pretending I don't exist. Dad's hands clenched into fists. You're out of your mind. I shrugged. Maybe. But at least now I finally matter, right? He stormed out without another word. Lily followed, muttering something about lawyers. I stood there for a while, staring at the closed door, heart pounding. I'd done it. I'd taken back control. But as the silence settled again, so did the loneliness. Revenge felt powerful, but it didn't feel peaceful. The next day, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. When I answered, a familiar voice spoke. Ms. Miller? I froze. Yes. This is Officer Daniels with the County Sheriff's Department. We received a report about potential financial fraud involving your family's accounts. We'd like you to come down to the station to clear things up.
My throat went dry.
Fraud?
I asked.
That's ridiculous. It's my account. He paused. Well, that's what we'll need to verify. I hung up and sat there in silence. They had actually gone that far. They were trying to destroy me, legally. For years, they'd called me too emotional. Now they were about to learn what emotions with power could really do. I grabbed my laptop and started typing fast. If they wanted a war, they were about to get one.
I didn't sleep that night.
Every sound outside my window made me flinch. Every vibration of my phone made my heart race. For the first time since this whole thing began, I was scared. Not of my family, but of losing control. The next morning, I walked into the police station. It was a small building, cold fluorescent lights humming above. At the front desk sat a tall officer with kind eyes. Name, he asked. Ava Miller. He nodded and gestured to a small room in the back. Officer Daniels will be right with you. As I sat there, staring at the pale yellow walls, I thought about everything. The years of humiliation, the laughter, the insults disguised as jokes. I didn't want revenge anymore. I wanted freedom. The door opened. A man in his late 40s stepped in, tall, serious, polite smile. Ms. Miller, he said, extending a hand. Thanks for coming. I shook it. So, what exactly am I being accused of? He sat down, flipping through a folder. Well, your father, Charles Miller, and your sister, Lily Miller, filed a report claiming unauthorized transfers and lockouts of joint family accounts. They're saying you intentionally froze assets to cause financial damage. I laughed, quietly, but sharp enough to sting. Of course they did. He tilted his head. So it's not true? Oh, it's true, I said, leaning back. But not illegal. Every account was under my name. I managed their finances for years. I just changed access permissions. I can show you the documentation. He blinked, surprised. You have that? I opened my laptop and slid it across the table. Right here. Digital signatures, authorization forms, full paper trail. My dad made me co-owner of everything 3 years ago because I was the only one who actually understood how online banking worked. Officer Daniels scrolled through the files, his brows rising higher with each page. After a moment, he closed the laptop and exhaled. Well, looks like everything checks out, Ms. Miller. I smiled faintly. So I'm free to go? Absolutely, he said. I'll file this as a civil family dispute, not a criminal case. I stood up, relief washing over me. But before I could leave, he said softly, Can I ask you something? Sure. He studied me for a moment. Why'd you do it? I hesitated. Because they broke me first, I wanted to say. Because I spent years trying to belong in a family that treated me like a stranger. Because sometimes justice doesn't come from forgiveness, it comes from showing people what they created. But all I said was, because I was tired of being the only one who cared. He nodded slowly, almost sympathetically. Sometimes people need a wake-up call. When I walked out of that station, the air felt lighter. For the first time, I didn't feel like the quiet, unwanted daughter. I felt unshakable. But the battle wasn't over yet. That night, my phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a call or a text.
It was a video message.
I hesitated, then pressed play.
It was Mom.
Her eyes were red, her hair disheveled. She looked like she'd been crying for days. "Ava," she whispered, "I don't know what's happened to us. Your father won't talk to me. Lily's a mess. I don't recognize this family anymore." She took a shaky breath. "I know we weren't perfect. I know you felt left out. Maybe we didn't show it enough, but you are family. You always were. Please just come home." For a long moment, I just stared at the screen. Part of me wanted to delete the message and move on. But another part, the little girl who used to wait by the door every night, hoping someone would ask how her day was, started to cry. The next morning, I drove back to the Miller house. When I pulled up, I saw Dad's truck parked outside, hood up, as if he'd been waiting. He looked older, tired, smaller somehow. Lily stood on the porch, arms folded, pretending not to care. I got out, walked to the steps, and stopped. Nobody spoke for a full minute. Finally, Dad sighed. "You made your point." I didn't move. "Did I?" He rubbed his temples. "Look, maybe we went too far at dinner. Maybe we said things we shouldn't have. But this, locking us out, humiliating us, that's not how family fixes things." I met his eyes. "You never wanted to fix things before. You just wanted me to stay quiet."
He didn't deny it.
And that silence, that moment, was more powerful than any apology. Then Lily stepped forward. Her voice was trembling. "You don't understand what it's like for me, Ava. I've always had to be the perfect daughter, the one who made Dad proud. When you came along, and he made you co-owner of the trust, I felt like he finally saw you instead of me. I guess I took it out on you." For the first time ever, she sounded human. I looked at her, really looked, and realized she wasn't the monster I built her up to be. She was just jealous. Insecure. Maybe we both were. I sighed. I didn't want to hurt anyone. I just wanted to stop feeling invisible. Lily nodded slowly. "Well, you got our attention." We both laughed, a tired, fragile laugh. Then I pulled out my phone, opened the finance app, and tapped restore access. Dad's phone buzzed immediately. He blinked, looking down at it. "You unlocked it?" "Yeah," I said softly. "But don't mistake that for forgiveness.
I'm not doing this for you.
I'm doing it so I can move on." He nodded, and for the first time in years, I saw something in his eyes I'd never seen before. Respect. That night, I packed my things. I didn't move back home. I didn't rejoin the family reunion. But I did something better. I started my own life. I left the town, started a new job, and began writing my story. Not for revenge. For release. Because sometimes the best revenge is becoming someone they can't hurt anymore. It's been 6 months since that night. 6 months since I locked my family out of their accounts, faced a police investigation, and finally took control of my own life. Now, when I wake up in the morning, it's quiet, not the heavy silence of loneliness, but the kind that feels peaceful. I make my own coffee, pay my own bills, and when my phone buzzes, it's not with arguments or guilt trips. It's with job offers, messages from real friends, and sometimes even from Mom. Yes, she calls now. Not every day, but often enough to remind me that maybe, just maybe, we're healing. One evening, I was walking home from work when my phone rang. It was an unknown number, but something told me to answer. "Hello." "Hey, Ava." It was Lily. I froze for a second. It had been months since we last spoke. Her voice sounded different.
Softer.
Nervous.
I wanted to say thank you," she said.
I frowned. For what? For not pressing charges. For not making things worse. I sighed. I never wanted to destroy you, Lily. I just wanted you to understand.
She paused. Ida.
I really do now. You were right. We treated you like an outsider for too long. And I hate that it took losing everything to realize how much we needed you. There was something in her tone. Not pity, not pride. Just honesty. It felt strange, hearing her speak to me like that.
No sarcasm.
No competition. Just truth. A week later, Mom invited me over. Not to fix things, not to guilt me, just for dinner. When I walked into the old house, it smelled like cinnamon and fresh bread. She'd made my favorite, apple pie. For the first time in years, there wasn't any tension in the air.
No fake smiles. No judgmental glances.
Just quiet, genuine warmth. We ate. We laughed. We talked about random things. Work, weather, music. At one point, Mom said softly, "You know, your father still has trouble looking at the online banking app." I laughed.
I didn't know.
Then she added, "But he also told me something last week." He said, "Ava may have gone too far, but she made me realize how far we pushed her." That made me stop smiling. Because those were words I never thought I'd hear. Later that night, when I was about to leave, I found Dad standing by the porch. He didn't say much, just nodded at me, awkwardly, like he was trying to find the right words. Then he said quietly, "I checked the family fund today. Everything's organized. Cleaner than it's ever been. You did a good job." It wasn't an apology, not exactly. But from him, that was close enough. And maybe that's all I ever needed. Driving home that night, I finally realized something. Revenge doesn't fix what's broken. It doesn't erase the hurt or rewrite the past. But sometimes, it's the spark that forces people to face the truth. My family didn't suddenly become perfect. We still had cracks, deep ones. But at least now, they were visible. And for the first time, I wasn't afraid to take up space. I wasn't the quiet one anymore. I was the woman who stood up for herself, even if it meant standing alone. Months later, on a bright Saturday morning, I got an invitation in the mail. The family reunion. Same house. Same event. Same people. But this time, there was something different about it. My name was written in bold. And next to it, in Mom's handwriting, "We hope you'll come home." I stood there for a long time, holding that invitation. Part of me wanted to laugh. Another part wanted to cry. Because I realized they finally saw me. I didn't know if I'd go. Maybe I would. Maybe I wouldn't. But either way, I'd already won. Because revenge wasn't about making them pay. It was about showing them that I mattered. That I was real. And now, every time I look in the mirror, I see someone who doesn't need their approval anymore, because she finally approves of herself. Before going to bed that night, I opened my journal, the one I started after everything happened. I flipped to the first page and read the sentence I wrote months ago. Sometimes family isn't the people you're born to, it's the people who choose to see you. Then I smiled and wrote a new line beneath it. And sometimes, the best revenge is learning to live without needing theirs. That night, for the first time in a very long time, I slept in complete peace.
No guilt. No anger. No noise.
Just silence. The kind that feels like freedom. Sometimes, the people who break you are the ones who promise to protect you. But remember this. Walking away isn't weakness, it's power. And when you finally stop chasing their approval, that's when you truly win. If this story gave you chills, make sure to hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to Revenge Files, where every story reminds you, karma always finds its way back. Comment below, what would you have done if your own family turned against you?